What's going on? We are back. We are back. Been busy lately. So I've been uploading as much, but back on the grind. So today I want to talk about Earl Spence and a couple of things that have been kind of being said in the last couple of days. I guess you could say within the boxing community, where there are some that believe that the schedule that he's on right now is too tough of a schedule. You know what I mean? Some think that it's almost as if he's being run into the ground. I guess you could say, some believe this is a much tougher schedule, like let's say than Floyd Mayweather had during his run, especially the second half of his career, I guess, and that he should be having a lot softer, softer fights, I guess, like in between his hard bouts. And then if that's the case, me personally, just to get to the point, my answer to that would be no. There's a couple of things. Number one, Earl Spence wants to have this type of schedule. Earl Spence said on many different occasions, I don't want no tune-ups. I want to face nothing but the best, you know? And in his philosophy is, if I can't get, like, let's say a particular fighter I want, give me the toughest opponent that's out there, that's going to be willing to fight me. And I know he wants to stay on pay-per-view. And in order for him to stay on pay-per-view, and in order for him to be making the type of money that he's making, he's going to have to face that level of opponent. That's why there's a drastic difference between what he makes and what somebody like a Terrence Crawford makes. And these are, I believe, are two guys who are very close when it comes to talent, skill, and when it comes to popularity, they could be the same. They're capable of being on the same plane, kind of like a Manny Pacquiao and a Floyd Mayweather. Where even though Floyd Mayweather was better than Manny Pacquiao, he still was kind of, in that same type of plane, and I believe these two guys could be the same. The only main difference is the level of competition that Terrence Crawford is facing and the levels of competition that Earl Spence is facing, regardless of what, anybody might think of why that is or why Crawford is getting certain fights or is not getting certain fights. Whatever you might think, that's what it is. Now, I remember, a couple of years ago when Earl Spence wasn't getting any fights, when all the top guys weren't fighting him. I remember that. And people were very upset about the fact that these top tier dudes would not fight him because he was fighting those lesser opponents. And people were even saying that he should leave PBC. They were saying that he should leave PBC if he can't get those particular fights, because if he goes somewhere like Top Rank, at least he'll know he'll get the Terrence Crawford fight. That's what people were saying back then. Okay? So to say that back then, and then for him to be in the position now where he's actually getting the fights that he wanted to get, and he's getting the fights that we wanted to see, against the guys that we wanted to see him fight, to now all of a sudden say, oh, it's too tough of a schedule. I think that's personally is off base. And this is the biggest one. There have been people in the community, who when it comes to a lot of these fighters, I've heard them say on multiple occasions, that if you're going to fight 2 times a year, if you're going to fight 3 times a year, 4 times a year, then okay, have some lower tier fighters in there. But if you're going to fight only twice a year, you should fight the best fighters that are out there. Because it's only twice a year, you have plenty of time to recover, and that's the level of opponent that you should be fighting. I've heard this be said on many different occasions. When sometimes we'll fight, let's say somebody will fight a top tier opponent, then they'll fight somebody like a lower tier opponent, like Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia sometimes will fight a super top tier opponent, will take a loss, then he'll come back to a lower tier opponent. A lot of the top guys, they'll fight a top tier opponent. If they take a loss, they'll go ahead and fight a lower tier opponent. And people still complain about that, about the lower tier opponent that they're fighting. But I've heard this said before, that if you're only going to fight twice a year, fight the best opponents you can fight. And that's what he's doing. So, what exactly has changed all of a sudden? And there are other people that are also doing the same type of thing. You look at Charlo. He's at 154 pounds. He's in one of the toughest division that's out there. So every single fight he has is tough. There are really no easy fights for him. You know? There are no easy fights. The only reason he even got, quote, an easy fight previously, before the last Harrison fight, was because Harrison bailed out because I guess he was hurt or whatever it was. And then after fighting Harrison in that tough fight, look who he's fighting next. He's fighting Rosario. You know? And if he beats Rosario, after that he's fighting Lubin again. Possibility. You know? And so, and you still got J-Rock that could be coming up again. You got Hurd that could become, like, the boy has a tough schedule. But no one's saying that, oh, he should lighten up his schedule. And because he's fighting that tougher level opponent, he is becoming a bigger star because of it. You know? And he's getting further into the space that he wants to be. And he continuously says, give me those harder fights. Give me those harder fights. Give me those harder fights. You know? Earl Spence right now is making, let's say, look at Earl Spence right now as he fights. His opponents are making more money right now than Terence Crawford is making. When everything is said and done, with the pay-per-views coming and everything coming, they're making millions of dollars more than Terence Crawford. So imagine what Earl Spence is making himself. You know? Imagine what, so you're going through this big, huge training camp. You're busting your tail. You might as well get yourself maximum dollars for it. You know? And especially if you're only fighting twice a year because you have plenty of time to recover. You know? And so people are saying that, well, you know, they could tell him like, nah, you need to ease up, this and that. Well, they kind of can't because he's his own boss. He's the CEO of his own company. He's his own promoter. You know? And if you want to do easier fights, Al Heyman will make that possible for you. If you want to, you know, go hardcore and you want to be absolutely facing the best people that will be willing to face you, Al Heyman will do that as well. Al Heyman will do what you want him to do. Like, what do you want him to do? He might not be able to get you a certain fight because let's say a certain guy doesn't want to fight you, but he can then set up steps for you to make the possible moves, make the moves that can put you into a space where then that person wants to fight you because it's just so much money that's involved in the fight. Kind of like Tank put himself into a position where there's so much money involved in the fight with him that a Santa Cruz is willing to fight him. Earl Spence is worth so much money now that all these guys are willing to fight him. Deontay Wilder's worth so much money now. Well, yeah, dude, the same dudes that actually were kind of saying no here then back then would fight Deontay Wilder now. You know, especially after if he beats Tyson Fury, where they'll fight Deontay Wilder over Anthony Joshua. Because you fight Deontay Wilder on the pay-per-view in the United States, you can make the same amount of money, if not more money, than you would fighting Anthony Joshua. You know, Deontay Wilder's actually got himself into that place. As if, obviously, he can win this fight against Tyson Fury. You know, so I'm going to have to disagree with that sentiment that, you know, that he's, you know, his schedule is, quote, too tough. You know, and some people are saying, well, you know, how's this going towards the road of undisputed then? You know, how is the end goal Terence Crawford then? To be honest, the end goal is not Terence Crawford. You know, you hope to eventually face Terence Crawford. You hope to be in a space and a plane where, you know, Terence Crawford will, quote, fight you. You know, but at the same time, you don't hold your career there waiting for that opportunity. You don't then dumb down your competition waiting for that opportunity. You still got to go on with your career. Just like Deontay Wilder, he's not waiting for Anthony Joshua or trying to dumb down his level of competition for Anthony Joshua. No, he's progressing along with his career. And hopefully the Anthony Joshua fight comes in. But if it doesn't, I'm going to do these fights and to maximize what I make. Tomorrow's not promised. Just like this kid understands that, obviously, what just happened to him. So F that lower tier fight stuff. Give me the best fights that's going to pay me the most amount of money. You know, give me that. And that's what Floyd Mayweather did. Floyd Mayweather, people say that, oh, this is a harder schedule than Floyd Mayweather's. No, it's not. Did you see that fight against a shell of himself, Robert Guerrero, and the problems he was able to give to a Keith Thurman? You know, Keith Thurman's eye out to here at the end of the fight, and the problems he gave him. Floyd Mayweather was fighting at above his walk-around weight, weighing in 15 to 20 pounds heavier than his opponents, and facing guys coming off their biggest wins. Whatever the biggest fight was, that's what he fought. You know, you're talking Zab Judah, Baldomir, the top two guys in the weight division. The second he stepped into that weight division, okay, you're talking him facing Oscar De La Hoya, at 154 pounds, giving up 15, 20 pounds again to this big, huge dude who's top 7 pound for pound, the best in the world, champion. Talk about him fighting a Ricky Hatton, top 10 pound for pound, when he was like top 7, who had just knocked off, the top 3 pound for pound rank guy. Beat him. Coming back, taking on Shane Mosley, taking on Marquez, who was top 3 pound for pound at the time, one of the greatest to ever do it again and champion. After that, taking on Shane Mosley, who had just knocked out Margarito. He was ranked the #1 welterweight in the world at the time and ranked top 3 pound for pound at the time. Taking on him. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing easy about the schedule. There's nothing easy about the schedule. And the list goes on. Facing a Miguel Cotto at 154 pounds and going toe-to-toe with him. Fighting a Robert Guerrero. After taking off a long layoff, after coming from being locked up. After fighting him, taking on a Canelo Alvarez. Again, 15 to 20 pounds bigger than you, stronger than you. De Maidana has a great match, obviously. He has a great performance. So taking on a Maidana who's 15 to 20 pounds bigger than you, again, a champion coming off his biggest win, and then he has a great performance against you and going right back in against that guy. They gave you hell. That put you through the fire when you faced him. Then taking on Manny Pacquiao, top 3 pound for pound, top 5, one of the best fighters in the world again. One who just beat a Keith Thurman. Obviously, Manny Pacquiao isn't that easy. He's over there, at his advanced age, years after facing Floyd Mayweather, still beating the likes of Keith Thurman. There's nothing easy about that route that Floyd took. Not to mention even the Money Mayweather days. The Pretty Boy Floyd stage. There's nothing easy about that schedule. So this Earl Spence taking this path or this schedule, he's basically doing the same type of thing. And believe it or not necessarily facing that same level of competition, but still a very high level of competition. And he's benefiting from it just the same way as Floyd benefited from taking the route that he took. It's a hard route to take, but if you're able to take it and you're able to be successful in it, luxury abound. You just progress and you keep getting bigger as a superstar and a megastar. And that's what Earl Spence is trying to do. So, that's my thoughts on it. For now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.